Okay, so what does this whole thing mean going forward? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Seat Radio. My name is Corbin, and thank you very much for clicking on this video. Don't forget, we only have a couple days left of our Movember fundraising here in November. Again, our goal is to get to $3,000. We're so close to getting there. If we do, one person who enters is going to win opening day tickets, so make sure you're donating using the link in my description. Anyways, if you missed it yesterday, the Boston Red Sox made a pretty significant move. They traded for St. Louis Cardinals starting pitcher Sonny Gray. Now, if you're looking for a full reaction or you're looking for a breakdown of the trade itself, both of those videos are going to be on my channel, so make sure you guys are checking those out as well. But I also wanted to talk about what this means for the Red Sox going forward, right? That's always the big question. Okay, the Red Sox made a move. How does this impact their offseason? Well, we got a couple of answers, at least over the course of the next couple of weeks, as to what the Red Sox could be doing and what they're focusing on going forward. So we're going to break this down in two separate parts. We're going to talk about the first part being their immediate future, what this now means as they turn towards maybe the free agent market or something like that. And the second thing we're going to be talking about is how this impacts the team in the long term over the course of the offseason, specifically regarding some quotes Craig Breslow had in yesterday's press conference regarding the Sonny Gray acquisition. So let's start by talking about the near future. What is this going to do in the immediate right now? In terms of the immediate impact for this Red Sox team, I'm not talking about the offseason in total. I'm talking about over these next few weeks, maybe over the next month or so. It appears as though this trade has kind of shifted the Red Sox focus a bit away from the starting pitching market and towards the offensive market. This is according to a whole lot of different reports here, so there are a lot of people I could give credit to, but the first one that I saw was Chris Cotillo, who said the Red Sox have turned their attention to adding an impact bat at this point, but are not ruling out further pitching additions this offseason. I think a lot of people saw this and immediately went, oh no, they're basically saying Sonny Gray's the only rotational ad this team is going to make this offseason. Personally, I think that's a bit of an overreaction, right? I don't think that this is indicating that the Red Sox are done with the pitching market. I don't think that this is indicating that the Red Sox are just sort of putting that out there in case something falls in their lap but aren't going to do anything about it. I think this is the only thing that this is indicating is that the Red Sox are looking to spend on a bat, which makes perfect sense, right? We've kind of always known that the starting pitching market is a lot weaker than the offensive market this offseason. I mean, the headliners for this offseason are really Alex Bregman, Pete Alonso, Kyle Tucker, Kyle Schwarber, and Bo Bichette. Those are the biggest names in the market this offseason. There are obviously high-impact free agent starters as well, like Framber Valdez, but we've kind of heard that there may be some personality issues there. Dylan Cease, but again, we haven't really seen Dylan Cease have that true Cy Young season in a little bit, right? Those are sort of the two bigger names, and then you got some potential guys who could be really good, but nothing really surefire in the starting pitching market. You have some surefire, legitimate, big-time additions on the open market for bats. Now, in my opinion, the Red Sox need to secure at least two of these guys, right? It shouldn't be a bat, it should be bats. And this is honestly what's scaring me the most about the immediate impact with this Sonny Gray trade. Every single report that we're seeing right now isn't saying bats plural, it's saying bats singular. And I just don't think that's enough, right? The Red Sox overall goal in 2026 was to take a step forward towards being a division contender, towards being a World Series contender. And if you bring back one of these bats, unless it's Kyle Tucker, you're not really improving the team all that much because you're still losing an Alex Bregman, right? The whole goal should be Alex Bregman or Bo Bichette or Pete Alonso right? It shouldn't just be a bat in this free agent market. In fact, the other report we are getting is kind of confirming all of this. Alex Spear here says that the Red Sox are unlikely to pursue a top free agent starting pitcher after this acquisition, knowing that they also need to spend on a bat. So to me, this is what's awaiting us in the near future. A whole lot of rumors about the Red Sox being connected to one of these big guys. And again, it shouldn't just be one, right? It needs to be two. Again, you can't just come out of an offseason with just bringing back Alex Bregman. That's not improving your team enough. And honestly, I don't even think just a Pete Alonso or just a Kyle Schwarber or just a Kyle Tucker or even just a Bo Bichette is improving this team enough, right? I think some of these guys do make you marginally better without Alex Bregman, but some of these guys, they also just kind of shift the way the Red Sox are going to score runs. It doesn't really improve this offense all that much. This is my biggest fear at this point in time, but this is just the immediate future. What does this mean for the Red Sox long term? In terms of sort of a longer term, what are they going to look like coming out of this offseason now that they've got Sonny Gray type conversation? I think obviously, again, you're looking at the free agent market for offense, but for pitching, I don't think they're done with the trade market yet, and I would still be keeping my eye for a bigger term acquisition. And I have a couple of reasons for this. It's not just me blindly having faith in the Boston Red Sox, right? I don't think anyone really blindly has faith in this Red Sox team at this point. The first reason is because obviously the fact that it's being reported that it's most likely that the Red Sox aren't diving too deep in the free agent market for a starting pitcher, which really shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. We have been hearing for weeks now that if/when the Red Sox are planning on making a big move with the rotation, it was always going to likely be via trade. This Sonny Gray move, to me, doesn't really change that all that much, right? You didn't give up the farm system to get Sonny Gray here. Really, what you gave up was one decent pitching prospect and a fringe back end of the rotation type guy. You still have a ton of bullets in your pipeline. You also still have a ton of bullets on the major league team. One of the more interesting things here is you didn't give up any major league talent to get Sonny Gray, right? You could still transform one of these outfielders into a controllable young starter without really losing any benefits to the major league team. And I think that's an important thing to remember here. The second thing is Breslow kind of reverted back to very GM-like talk in his press conference with this great trade. This offseason, so far, what we've seen from Craig Breslow is kind of a non-characteristically transparent answers to questions, right? He's been pretty open about needing a middle-of-the-order bat, needing a number 2 starting pitcher, and when he got Sonny Gray, with how transparent he's been this offseason with wanting that number 2 starting pitcher, he didn't really take a victory lap like I would assume he would if the Boston Red Sox were planning on making Sonny Gray their number 2. In fact, what he said here was, I don't know how much sense it makes in November to put a number on a guy, adding, we still intend to prove our team. Exactly what this looks like, we don't know right now. To me, that just doesn't sound like a guy who nailed his number 2, right? It just doesn't sound like a guy who's fully satisfied with where this rotation is at. If you remember, back when he got Garrett Crochet, he did kind of take said victory lap, right? He kind of sat there and he said, look, this was the guy we were looking for. This is the ace. This is the top of the rotation. This is the drag you to the postseason type pitcher. He didn't really do that with Sonny. He said he's a good pitcher. He said he likes what he sees. He likes the fact that he's been a 200K guy over his recent years. He likes the fact that he's pitched a ton of innings, but he refused to label this guy a number 2. To me, that's an indication that, hey, this isn't the last thing the Red Sox are going to do. And 3, something that Breslow has really hammered home this offseason is the idea that they don't want more sort of stopgap solutions, right? They're looking for longer term solutions in this rotation. They don't want to have to spend big money every offseason. They don't want to have to spend a whole lot of prospects every offseason to get a legitimate number 2 starting pitcher. Sonny Gray is a short-term solution here. It feels as though there's something else coming for this Red Sox rotation. To me, here's exactly what I think this impact trade does for the long-term outlook of the Boston Red Sox. I don't think it does a ton. Right, I think the Red Sox are still trying to position themselves to get a legitimate, controllable starting pitcher on the trade market. Right, I think it kind of totally negates the idea of getting them on the free agent market, which I don't think I'm totally upset about. Right, I would love for the Red Sox to spend like $400 million this offseason, but I just don't think it's going to happen, and I don't think a lot of you expected that to happen either. I think they're waiting out the starting pitching trade market a bit. I think they're seeing what players become available. Right, things change over the course of an offseason. A team doesn't land as hitters that they want, and all of a sudden they debate whether or not they're going to buy or sell, or they don't land the bat that they want, and all of a sudden they realize they need to try and move talent to get this bat as opposed to dollars to get this bat. Like, you're looking at this and saying, okay, can the Red Sox sort of allow this picture to take place, right? You've settled in on a starting pitcher. I mean, worst case scenario, you're relying on Sonny Gray to be your number 2 coming into 2026. I don't think that's an ideal situation. I don't think a lot of you think that's an ideal situation, but it's not the worst possible situation you've had over the last couple of years here. As you start to wait for this market to sort of play out a little bit, you can also secure your offense. And specifically what I think this does for the Boston Red Sox is it allows them to understand exactly who they can move at the big league level in order to get this pitching move done, right? Say you do get your big bopper home run guy, or you get your big RBI guy, or you get your low strikeout guy, or whatever it may be, hopefully a combination of a couple of those different things. It becomes a whole lot easier to move a Jarren Duran in order for for a controllable starter. It becomes a lot easier to move Wilyer Abreu for a young controllable starter, right? Because you understand that you're already going to be making up the difference in that offense because of the guys that you signed. So to me, what this indicates about the Red Sox long-term goals here is that they're going to build out this offense in order to figure out how they can utilize this offense to also get themselves a number two. Look, it may feel like right now this move is underwhelming, right? It's because it's the first move the Red Sox have made this offseason. It's not the number two guy everybody wanted. It's not a big bat. It's not securing anything in this offense or really this rotation, even though it does make your rotation much better. Fangraphs has him as the number two rotation in the entire sport right now, despite the fact that Red Sox fans are a bit underwhelmed by Sonny Gray. But I think the reason for that is because right now Red Sox fans are genuinely pessimistic, right? I think a lot of fans are sitting there saying, we're going to think this is worst case scenario until it's not because we've been hurt so many times by the Boston Red Sox. My thing is I want this to play out a bit. I want to see why the Red Sox made this move so early. I want to see how this market shapes up. I want to see where the Red Sox land, what other pieces the Red Sox are going to add to this team before I judge what the impact of this trade is going to be. Personally, in terms of what this does for the next moves by the Boston Red Sox, I don't think it changes all that much. I think the Red Sox are still going to add at least one of these big name bats. It should be two of these guys, but the bare minimum, you need one of them and then a supplementary piece to go along with said bat. And I still don't think this takes them out of the trade market right now. I think in the immediate future, it is going to take them out of the trade market a bit, but the trade market's a funny thing. Right, you're going to be sitting there saying, I didn't even know this guy was available via trade at some point this offseason, and I think the Red Sox are waiting for opportunities on those guys. They're looking for these mid-market teams to start getting desperate for offense. The Reds, the Royals, those type of teams that are sitting there saying, we want to add offense to this club. We're going to try and get that via the free agent market, and when that doesn't work out, because it most likely won't work out for them, the Red Sox are going to be there to say, hey man, we've got some major league offense for you. Why don't you hand us one of your controllable starters that is going to make our team legitimately better? And once that does happen, I think we're going to get a clear picture as to why the Red Sox decided to add Sonny Gray this offseason. And I think that's ultimately what we're going to be looking for here. So in reality, I don't know that there's so much of an impact in terms of how this alters the offseason all that much. I think the Red Sox added a solid arm, and I think the Red Sox understand that it's not enough. I think there's still more to come here. And the unfortunate thing about this is we can't sit here and make any grand declarations, right? I can't sit here and make a grand declaration that this isn't the end of the Red Sox offseason, the same as you guys can't sit here and say that this does mark the end of the offseason, right? The only thing that we can do is wait and see. I know that sucks to say, and I know a lot of Red Sox fans are not very patient when it comes to how they're going to evaluate this team, but that's really the only thing I'm asking for right now. Give the Red Sox a little bit of patience, see how this market unfolds, see how they end up coming into spring training, and on March 1st, once we figure out what that looks like, then we can judge this move, and then we can judge what kind of impact this had on the Boston Red Sox. But until then, it's all up in the air. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think? What do you think about the Sonny Gray trade in terms of its impact on the offseason? Do you like that the Red Sox are starting to focus on bats? Do you think that the Red Sox are going to still trade for another starting pitcher? Do you think this is it? Right, I think a lot of you guys are going to say this is it, but let me know what your thoughts are. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. It just simply helps out a ton, and it's the best way to let me know you're enjoying the content. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the red seats.